let's focus on the wider social and structural issues that perhaps are at play, because obviously that's going to be a key determining factor as to whether we are indeed successful at getting the 700,000 target. So I'd like to turn to Laura now, if that's okay. So within the strategy, it specifically says, and I'm going to quote, so I'm just going to look at my notes here, there is a desire to tackle structural disparities that exist across society. How would you mark the government's current progress on that, Laura?
I'll try and be positive
Okay,
to an extent. Nice. However, I think at DR UK, we believe that by following the social model of disability, it's clear to us that access to choice of affordable, accessible, safe and fun activities is a rights-based issue. And I've not seen any evidence that that's the case from anything that's come out from any of the strategies. As disabled people, we lose out and not able to be active as non-disabled people. This is because of a wide range of barriers outside of our control, which Emma's alluded many to. But actually, it's often including the design of our social structures that actually put us even more disadvantaged. So that gap that we've already spoken about is just increasing. But for us, being active in a way that suits us is a fun. It's not a luxury. It should be an absolute right, and it should be something that's afforded to all of us. And it's so often seen as a disabled person that if I want to be physically active, it's a nice-to activity. It's an afterthought. Like you said, it's not embedded. So when people are making decisions around if I can use my benefits on being physically active, it's like, well, I think you should be doing like your domiciliary care or other things. And so it's not seen as an absolute right. On average, we've lost around £1,200 each year because of the changes that we've seen currently going on in government. And non-disabled, that's equivalent to about 300. So again, that massive disparity. So actually being able to get to activities, to be able to take part is and I think you mentioned it, Emma, that was when we're making decisions about, can I put my heating on, can I go out and have food, or can I still maintain my well-being? Mm-hmm. And actually the things that I want to do, we're having to make them choices on a more regular basis. So regrettably, a lot of the other reforms and a lot of the things that we're seeing just kind of makes physical activity even less of a realism for us as disabled people, and then not to bring on the fear of having our benefits stopped.
Yeah, that's an interesting one, because I know you guys are doing some research about the activity trap, or being a bit fearful of if you're seen to be active, someone might suggest that you are not eligible for your benefits, and therefore that is that paradox, really. You want to get people to be active, but actually at the same time there's potential to try and get you off the benefit system. And so would you be able to just speak a little bit more about what that actually means in practice? How many people are actually being put off by the idea of potential, being accused of benefit cheats or anything like that? How would you be able to talk about that at all?
I mean, we're currently doing the research at the minute, so I can't give you the definite figures. But what we were always, this was a kind of like an elephant in the room, I guess. It was a conversation that we was having all the time, and people were telling us that they had this fear. What we didn't know was was it a perceptional fear or a reality. Already from our research, it's actually very apparent it's a reality. And people are having their benefits stopped.
They are losing benefits.
Yes, because they've had decisions turned down because they've said, oh, I will cycle too. And it's like, okay, you can meet that, you don't meet that criteria.
Okay. Yep.
So that's already coming out. And so what needs to happen is a very honest conversation with assessors of these, of PIP and things like that, that actually what me being physically active actually enables me to continue to maintain my well-being. And it's not actually going to mean that all of a sudden I can, walk 5,000 steps or whatever else. So yeah, sadly, it's that, and always perception is just as important, and we have to challenge that as well, but actually, no, it's a reality. And
also at the moment, we've currently got the government trying to tighten up the welfare system, or at least that's how they package it. We've got, I think it was the other day when Rishi Sunak was saying we've got a sick note culture, and so presumably that is counterproductive to what we're trying to do about getting people who maybe have more complex requirements, more access needs, to be active because of what you've been saying.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And unfortunately, time and time again, what we see is that there is this massive disparity about what one government department's doing versus another. And I think, Hayley, you mentioned it perfectly. It's because we do not get the people who actually are going to be affected in any of these decisions involved in these conversations. You know, it's never, ever considered that actually, so you know, we're never asked as our opinion to go, well, what is it that enables you to maintain a degree of consistency in your life? So, yeah, sadly, we're just, after decision, it's having more and more impact on people, disabled people being physically active.
Okay, thank you so much, Laura. I mean, we've got to move on because of time. I could easily, again, talk